Welcome to Creative Caregiving and Beyond. More and more people are having to become caregivers for their elderly loved ones, and navigating this journey can be really difficult. This podcast will provide guidance and give practical tips for your family. Your host is Wendy Whiteman, elder law attorney, author, speaker, and leading insight advisor in senior protocol and senior lifestyle trends. Know that you are not alone in getting the help that you need. Let's get started. And here's Wendy.
Welcome to another episode of Creative Caregiving and Beyond. Today we have a special guest, Glenna Hecht, who is here and an author of a book of How Old Are You Today? I'm so excited about it, and I know you're going to get some great information. Glenna, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here. And such an important conversation, and I'm glad you started this with your audience. It's great.
It is a great conversation, and we've got some great information that I'm ready to get out to the public, and this is going to be a great episode, so hold on and get ready. What was your life in relationship with your mother before she had dementia?
Oh, great question. I was raised in Chicago.
Okay.
And started my career in Chicago in human resources. And my mom was quite a bit older, and she was going through mom stuff. You know, you don't know it until later when you realize what's going on. But we became a little contentious, and the relationship was a bit estranged. And I was offered an opportunity to come to Dallas and head up HR for a company here. Okay. And I jumped at it. I thought not only was it a great pivotal opportunity for my career, but it was an opportunity for me to somewhat get away from a difficult relationship. So I ran, and my family had said to me, you can run, but you can't hide. At some point, this is going to catch up with you, and you're going to want to make amends with your mom. And I kind of went, yeah, and came to Dallas and had a great career until one day life changed. And I know we'll talk a little bit about that in just a few moments. Yes. So we had a wonderful growing up. Mom was always there for me. And then obviously as you get older and want to do your own thing, and sometimes your folks like that, and sometimes they don't. And so the easy path for me, the path of least resistance, was to come here to Dallas and try to live my own life. And eventually life caught up. As it always does.
It does. And do you remember the exact moment that you realized that you were going to become a caregiver?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. No question. So I was sitting at my desk, and I was the VP of HR for an advertising agency in Dallas. And I got a phone call from my cousin who said to me, your mother is missing in Chicago. You need to come home right away.
Oh my goodness.
And Mom was missing. I didn't know whether or not she was going to come home that day. The next day just had no clue. And I walked into my boss's office and said, my mom's missing. I need to leave and go to Chicago. I don't know when I'll be home and when I'll be back. And if you need to fill my job, that's okay, but this is my mom.
Right.
And he said, take all the time you need. So the next day I flew back home to Chicago, and Mom was standing, she had come home, was standing in front of her building in a coat that literally touched the ground. She had become so little that this dwarfed her. And she looked at me and said, the angels are after me. Can you take me and protect me? And I was like, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
And my cousin was in the car, and I said to her, Mom thinks the angels are after her. We're going to go to the hospital immediately. So I drove like crazy to Northwestern Hospital, and about 8 hours later, the doctor said to me, your mother's in perfect health, except we think she has dementia, and she can't go home. And I didn't know what that word meant. So it was not even caregiving in the specific. It was really, okay, she'll get well in a few weeks and then I can take her home, right? And he went, no, not again. So that was the moment when everybody that was with me looked at me, and they had this look on their face, and it was sadness. It was a little bit of pity, right? It was, your life is about to change and you have no clue what that means. And I didn't. And so the doctor was very honest, and he was very kind and gracious and said to me, no, life is about to change for you, and you'll have to figure it out each day as you go forward. And that's basically what happened.
What you had to do.
You got it. You
Wow.
step up and do what you have to do.
So that's a moment that really jars you'll never forget it. I mean,
Right.
you'll never forget that. And what emotions came across? I mean, were you confused or
Oh gosh, I would say
grief or
fear
a little
was,
bit of everything
fear
at the same
was
time?
the first one because, well, but probably even before being afraid was I had no concept of what dementia meant.
Right.
So
right.
it was really this unknown, what's this all about? And then when he said she couldn't go home, then it was fear and real sadness. And I looked at her and a tear came down her face because she knew life for her was different as well. And I grabbed her hand and said, we'll figure this out together. So it was, all
so
of the
wonderful.
emotions that you could go through in about 30 seconds. I felt
Yes.
all of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And from that point forward, they just kept coming up. And it was a matter of, embrace this because A, you don't have a choice, but also, right? And
Right.
also, this is the most loving thing that you can do for somebody that cared for you.
That's
And you
right.
just have to work through it together.
You
So,
really do.
yeah, all of the emotions went smack right at the very beginning, and then I kept feeling them over and over again for 9 years.
Wow. And you're the only child?
I am an only child, and so my estrangement from my mom obviously shifted over the time that I was with her, but I didn't have anybody else to help me.
Right.
And so I had to figure it out on my own. And some days I did really well, and other days not so much.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
you know what that's like.
I do.
And so I said to myself, just take the next step, take the next step. And it was always one step at a time to figure out, where do you put her and how do you handle this? And I ended up over 9 years moving my mom 5 different times, from Chicago to Dallas, and then 4 times when I was in Dallas as well.
Yeah. What do you mean? You mentioned in your book wandering through fog for
Yes.
a caregiver.
Yes.
Exactly what does that mean?
Wow, great question. It's a great one. I always imagine when you're walking through fog, you can only see a few feet in front of you. And as much as you try to say, what's down there, it's a little blurry, right? It's unknown. It is something that I'm not sure of. And I found that being a caregiver with a mom with dementia was exactly the same thing. I didn't know what was 2 feet in front of me. I didn't know the next step.
Yes.
I only knew that I needed to take a step. And if it wasn't the right step, then I would take another step. And I've said this very often, that caregiving was the hardest leadership role that I've ever had.
I understand. Yes.
And it's because there's no rule book, there's no handbook, there's no job description.
No,
All of
that's
a
so true.
sudden, you have this, this new take on role that you have to do, right? You can't delegate it necessarily to somebody else.
No, you can't.
And so caregivers are my heroes, the most compassionate, hardworking people that I can even imagine.
Yes.
But part of the walking through fog is realizing you may not know what's out there, but if you move in a forward direction, you can always take a different step, and then the road becomes clearer every step you take. So
that's great advice.
yeah, that was really important for me to hold on to.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Thank you.
It is a journey, and I know as you were developing the process or the thought of how do you today, what wasn't working? What did you?
Gosh. So much wasn't working. We don't have all day, but I'll give you a short version.
Yeah, give me a short version of what wasn't working.
So, let me rewind on my career because that had a lot to do with it. I worked in human resources and senior levels for a long time.
Okay.
And
so you work with people all the time?
all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
And HR, especially as you get more senior, tends to be a fix-it role, right?
True.
Where
true.
somebody says, I have a benefits issue, I have a comp issue, my employee's not doing this, my team, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they would come to me and I would be the problem solver,
You're the
right?
fixer.
And
Yeah.
I was the fixer. And so with the first 2 years that Mom had dementia, I thought, okay, this is just going to be another fix-it role for me. I can make
Right.
this go away.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So I would say to her, I'd go, okay, you just need to do this, or I would correct her, and I would think that I could shake her up and get her back to the way that she was and just make it go away.
Yeah.
And so I did research. I went to support groups. I went to symposia. You're going to laugh when you hear this one, I even thought, okay, those people that are caregiving and that are heading up communities know what they're doing. I'm going to get certified as an assisted living manager because then I can fix her, right? Well, how'd that work for me? Not at all. No, that didn't work either.
Yeah.
And what worked was giving it up.
Yes.
And it didn't happen graciously. I ended up losing my temper, and it was after Mom had repeated the same story 6 times. And I stood up and went, I heard you, and nobody paid any attention to my outburst. And what it did to me, Wendy, was make me realize that that was common behavior for a caregiver.
Yeah.
But it wasn't common behavior for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that person with my mom. And so I remember running out of her assisted living in the rain and sitting in my car and crying and driving home, and walked into my closet and curled up in a little ball and cried so hard I fell asleep. Yeah. And then when I got up, I heard some very pivotal words that actually were the entree to the game that followed a couple of years later. But I said, you know what? I'm done fixing. I'm just going to be the best daughter I can be, and I'm going to be present and hold her hand and be with her and stop trying to make this go away. Because there's no fix. It's just something you need to face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you're absolutely, I totally can relate to that. I guess women with that type of personality, I have that, so to speak, with practicing law. I'm called upon to fix things sometimes, and you want to fix it. But you finally reach that point, that threshold. You're like, I'm defeated. I cannot fix this. And I love the way you said it, decided to be the best daughter you could be, just be present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we would sit and we would hold hands. We would sit next to each other. We would laugh. We would make cookies. I mean, we did all kinds of things, and I was with her a lot. I would visit her all the time.
Yeah.
So I became kind of the daughter for a lot of the other people that were in the facility as well, since I became a familiar face.
Yes.
And then the birth of the game was quite remarkable, which I know you're gonna
Yes,
chat
I'm gonna ask you about
It
that.
was really fun.
Yes. Yes. So how old are you today? The book. How did that process start?
Okay. Well, it started with an interesting experience I had with my mom.
Okay.
And what I realized, which is really, I would say, the whole focus of the book, is that they time travel. They are not in one place. They become younger, they become older, and they sort of travel. So one day I went to see my mom, and she was sitting in this, you can only picture it, this assisted living, and it was with the wood paneling and the saggy couches and the linoleum floor and the fluorescent lights, right? You know what you would picture in your head. And she was posing, and she was kind of sitting like this, and she was very young and flirtatious. And she said, oh my gosh, I love the sun and the beach. And she's looking at the fluorescent lights, and, you know, she's with her sorority sister, and they're having fun. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's dying. You know, she's entering the tunnel, and this is the end.
The light is ahead.
Right,
Yes.
right. And I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. But she was so happy that I thought, if this is the end, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I kept every time I would go back, I wanted to go back to the beach. And I would say to her, "Are you at the beach?" And she'd go, "No." And that was the end of the conversation. Or I'd say, "Are you 23?" And she'd say, "No." And then done, right? And finally I went, okay, I'm obviously not being very successful at this. So one day I just looked at her and I said, I have forgotten, how old are you? And she looked at me and said, "Guess." And we started to play this game. And I would say, that time I was like, "Are you 70? And she'd go, "No." And I'd say, "Are you older or younger?" And she'd say, "I'm younger." And I go, "Are you 65? No." "Are you younger?" "Yes, I'm younger." And so when we got to an age, I realized that, I could ask her questions about where she was and what she was doing at that age.
At that age.
Right. And I mean, there were times when I would guess too high and I would say, "Are you 70? And she'd go, "Do I look that old?" And I would be like, "Oh my gosh,"
Yes.
But over time, I ended up playing the game with her for almost 7 years, every single time I visited her.
Wow.
And there are rules to the game that are in the book. There's an art to playing the game. And, I learned it through process of elimination because I made mistakes, right? And it was remarkable. I learned things about my mom that I never knew in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I know that doctors will say, meet them where they are. You've heard that a lot,
I've heard that.
right?
Yes, I have.
But nobody
I've heard
tells you how to do that.
Yeah.
And so the game gave me some structure and framework for that. And then I started to share it with other people because I thought, it may only be for me, but I'm curious. And so as I told other folks, they would try it and it would work for them.
It would work
as
for
well.
them too. Well, I'm going to definitely try it with my mom.
I
and
love
see how
that.
it goes. Yes, I'll
Absolutely.
keep you posted.
Okay, good.
So you made a real connection between you and your mom.
Yes.
And she enjoyed playing the game.
Oh my gosh. She didn't know she was playing the game, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
We were
yes.
just having conversation and landing on an age,
Okay.
right? And there were days when, she was there. She wasn't remembering there.
Okay.
She was actually there. And so, if she was in her 60s, I'd say, "What are you doing?" And she would say, "Oh, I'm drinking coffee at the kitchen table." And I would say, "Describe the table." And she would describe it. And I remembered it vividly. I would ask her to take a tour around our house. I go, "Would you show me the house you live in?" And she would walk around and get to, this was funny, Wendy, she'd get to my room and she'd say, "This is my daughter Glenna's room. She's a mess." And I was. I mean, so she was telling the truth.
She was telling the truth.
Exactly. So it was, but it was, I was along for the ride, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Did you make notes on different things
Oh my gosh,
that you
yes.
discovered?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
made notes, lots and lots of stories. So I wrote down how I asked them and what I learned, and I would share them with other people. And so that became some of the chapters, obviously, that are in the book.
Were there moments of joy and laughter for your mom and I know you as well?
Absolutely. Probably my absolutely favorite chapter in the whole book is a chapter called "When I Met Me." And I walked in one day. Mom was at that point in a nursing home. So we had run out of money, and I'd put her in a nursing home. And they always had a chair next to her at lunch or dinner because I would show up quite frequently. And I walked in, and she was sitting like this. And I thought, oh, this is going to be an interesting day.
That's what
And
this is about.
Yes, and I asked her how old she was, and as we played the game, she was 39 years old, which was the age when she had me.
Okay.
So I asked her if she had a baby, and she said, yes. Is it a boy? No, it's a little girl. And I said, what's her name? And she said, the Miracle Baby, which is what they called me. And Mom had a number of miscarriages before she found out that she was pregnant with me, which is why they called me that.
Okay.
So I said to her, do you love the baby? What do you do with the baby? And I said, what was what was it like to have the baby? I mean, how many kids talk to their parents about their birth?
Right.
None, right?
None.
And my mom at the top of her lungs screams, "It hurt." So everybody sort of froze in place, right? And what was so moving and tender and gut-wrenching about the story was I said to her, "What do you do with the baby?" And she said, "Oh, I wash the baby and I feed the baby and I change the baby's diapers and I sing to the baby, and I mean everything you would do."
Right.
And I said, "Do you get much rest?" And she said, "No, because if I go to sleep, the baby may die." Because she had had miscarriages
before.
And just imagine, I mean, put in perspective, your mother is holding what she perceives as you, and you're watching it, and she's just told you she's afraid you'll die. And so the whole thing is a head trip. There's no other way to describe it.
Exactly.
Right? And I went, "Please, please find the words to say something to her." And I said, "You know, I saw the baby. And she's beautiful. You're such a good mom." And she literally went like this, you know, patting me on the head, right? And she just kind of like, you know, her shoulders dropped. And then like a puddle, Wendy, just, and she looked at me and said, "Can I go to sleep now?"
Aww.
And so I went, "Absolutely." And called them over and they wheeled her back. And, that was another sit in your car for an hour and a half and cry moment, and calling my friends and my family and say, "You're not going to believe what just happened." So, I mean, so many things. We had moments where it was so funny, I can't even begin to tell you. Yeah, just crazy things. And you don't typically have that kind of interaction with a parent, right? You'll say something to them, and they'll go, "Well, you know, that was a long time ago. Why do you need to worry about that?"
Right,
So it was really a gift. And probably the most extraordinary part of it was as she was getting towards the end, and Mom passed away when she was 19 days shy of 100. So she had a very long life.
Yes, she did.
She had a
Yes,
long
she
life.
did.
And nothing was left unsaid. We had the most loving, joyous, glorious relationships. So everything that had started estranged completely transformed. And we played the game in silence. So as dementia, your listeners will know this, that it affects your swallowing and your throat over time. And she could no longer talk. And so I said, "Let's figure out a different way." So I would have her squeeze my hand. And I would say, you know, squeeze 1 for yes if the question is a yes answer, or 2 for no, when we played the game up until the day that she passed away.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well, it seems like it opened up your relationship with your mom
very much
to a
so.
level you never would have experienced. And most people, like you said, don't experience with their parents.
No.
Because you had frank conversations, especially when she didn't realize it was you that her baby she was talking to.
Absolutely.
She could talk to you like a girlfriend or aunt or, you know, someone who she could really confide in without
Yes.
wondering if she's crossed a line or something.
Well, and it's interesting because in the beginning, and it's one of the rules that I share in the book, is making the assumption that I could be me sitting here and that she would know me as her daughter at 14, but also sitting here.
Right.
And that was not possible for her. And I started to look at the clues, and they tell you very clearly that they're not present. And so you just have to watch their body language, you watch their eyes. And I realized over time what she was and wasn't capable of while playing the game.
Right.
So it was really an extraordinary experience.
And that's less confusing and more soothing for them when you're responding in that manner versus, you know, sometimes my mom will say, "Where's Wendy?" And I'm like, "I'm right here."
Right.
Instead of me saying that, you know, and that's more confusing for them. It's like, there's no way you could be Wendy.
Right. I think she's 10. With, you know,
Right,
exactly. Why? So
exactly.
that's not possible.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, you know, caregivers do the best they can. And that's when I say walking through the fog.
Yes.
And if I had a message to share with all of your caregivers out there, it is that you are truly heroes in the hardest job there is
Yes.
and doing the best you can, and just breathe and take one step, and hopefully something like this book is a help for you.
Yes.
Because I know that I looked for anything that gave me some relief and some grace through the process, for sure.
Well, I know the book is just wonderful, and thank you for sending it to me too. And I've got a picture of your mom on the back here. I'll just kind of hold this up a little bit.
Yeah, with the
And
crown.
it's so precious. It is so precious. And I would encourage all of you to definitely go out and get Glenna's book. How old are you today? And I'm going to start this process with my mom. And I look forward to it. I mean, it's an adventure, isn't it?
It is an adventure.
It's an adventure. Now, how can our audience purchase the book?
It's on Amazon in paperback and ebook.
Okay.
And anywhere books are sold, it's, in Barnes & Noble and Walmart and online, but certainly Amazon is easy as well.
Very good. I love the
Yeah.
cover.
Thank you.
With the card here, the Queen of Hearts.
Yes, yes. And it was a game. We played a
Yes.
game, absolutely. And so, and I've tried it with I had other people who have tried it with their parents, and it has given them relief, is the word that I would use. And so I encourage people to try it. I'm very proud of it. And dementia was one of the greatest blessings of my life, which is, most folks, when they hear that, say that's not possible, and it absolutely was.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
thank you.
and it's a journey.
Yes.
And it brought you guys closer.
Yes.
It brought you closer. The whole process, the way you handled it was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
And gave me peace in my heart.
Yes.
And so I think that, when your parent decides that it's time for them to leave, this life and go
Yes.
beyond wherever that may be, the most important thing is that you feel as though what has been said and what you need to say has been said between each other,
Yes.
and that you can live with peace and joy and go forward. And so I was very blessed to be able to do that, because that wasn't where it started. So it worked out in a very positive way.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
Glenna, thank you for coming on.
Oh my gosh, thank you
Appreciate
for having
you.
me.
And please definitely go out and get Glenna's book. You're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be a blessing to many people. I'm definitely going to go ahead and start the game myself with my mother and caregivers, and we're all going to join in. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Creative Caregiving and Beyond. Don't forget to like us and subscribe to our channel. We have some great things coming up as well. And have a great day.